The BRICS Young Scientist Forum has created a network to harness knowledge for solving common societal challenges through research and innovation. And this year's forum has put a spotlight on artificial intelligence, machine learning and future skills essential for advancing the goals of BRICS countries. This aligns perfectly with the Southern Africa Telecommunication Networks and Applications Conference starting this weekend, which is looking at AI's role in shaping South Africa, Africa and the global economy. For more on this, I'm joined by Telkom's Group Executive for Innovation and Transformation, Dr. Mmaki Jantjies. Dr. Jantjies, thank you so much for joining us on SA tonight. We're glad to have you. Could you talk to us firstly about the recent BRICS Young Scientist Forum and the outcomes of that event?
A very good evening, and thank you so much for having me. I think what's important to recognize within the different BRICS countries is the capabilities, especially from a skills perspective, and the skills that will be needed to harness the innovation, particularly on technologies such as artificial intelligence. For us, especially related to this with the SATNAC Conference, which is coming up, we have placed in sharp focus what is our role in ensuring that we create a pipeline of young students who will go out and create technologies that are relevant to the 21st century, that are relevant to South Africa's needs, and solving them through the power of artificial intelligence.
So we've just seen the conclusion of the BRICS summit, so that's a very hot talking point. But let's talk more about the role of AI and machine learning in advancing the goals of BRICS countries.
Look, I think if I bring it closer to home within the South African context, we've seen in industries the impact of automation, and we've seen how this can have an effect on jobs that we see today. There's an evolution on the type of jobs that we will now experience within the future. Equally, we see the power of artificial intelligence in being able to help us. For example, we have a technology that we've developed in partnership with a startup, and that is led by our artificial intelligence team. And this particular technology called AI helps us translate from English to South African languages, helping us better serve our customers. Within this context, these are some of the key research areas that the SATNAC Conference looks at. And SATNAC Conference is anchored on research groups that are based within South African universities, known as the Telkom Centers of Excellence, this year celebrating 25 years of existence. And this is a key milestone for us because we'll be launching a report that looks at how we've been able to partner with universities, with industry across board to say, how do we think about the future and the technologies that will impact us and make sure that we have a future-fit workforce, but we have R&D teams that are looking specifically at these key areas that will affect us. And we've observed in the report that we've produced over 3,500 honors, masters, and postgraduate students. And we're really proud that some of these have a sharp focus on artificial intelligence within the South African and African context.
So we've got millions of unemployed youth in South Africa. It's an indictment on our economic situation, but it is also an opportunity to skill many of these young people with skills of the future in AI, in machine learning, in the kinds of future technologies that will not only continue unlocking more opportunities, but will improve the economic situation for all South Africans. So what are some of those critical skills that we need to address? Because we know we have a huge deficit in terms of science, maths, those critical skills, computer literacy.
I think that's a very, very important question. If we unpack the unemployment statistics, which are very high within the South African context, something which is quite critical is the mismatch between what industry needs and the skills that we have, particularly amongst young people. And I think there's been very deliberate efforts across South African industries. If I take it closer to home within the Telkom group, we've had interventions in basic education because we realize that in order for us to be able to produce the highly skilled and talented experts in areas such as artificial intelligence, we actually need to start in basic education. So the Telkom Foundation has had deliberate efforts in plowing into education, particularly looking at mathematics and science, and that has enabled us to then in undergraduate be able to support the students. But most importantly for us, in the centers of excellence, we then work closely with the master's and PhD students in fields such as computer science, in fields such as engineering, to work on key research areas that we're already working on in industry, that there's a very strong alignment between where industry is going, where research is going, and the skills that we need as a country.
Let's talk about collaboration between some of the BRICS members. We've seen a lot of discussions about how member states can work more closely together. We've seen promises of deals in terms of energy. China is really hopefully going to make a big impact on our energy situation. That in its own sense is going to have a knock-on impact on South Africa's economy and the ability of youth to unlock opportunities. It's very difficult to do a hell of a lot when you've got no power to start with. But let's talk about how we're upskilling youth to be part of those collaborative opportunities and to be part of solutions alongside other BRICS members.
Look, if we start at home, I think this, the SATNAC Conference is a testament of what public-private partnerships are able to achieve at scale and in a long-term effect. Aligned to the BRICS, especially the Young Summit for Scientists, we could see that it gives us an opportunity for the researchers that are sitting in the centers of excellence for us to continue funding and supporting them, enabling them to collaborate with researchers in India, with researchers in China, with researchers in other countries within the BRICS forum, looking at key issues and seeing how they could collaborate in solving contextual challenges. And we've been quite deliberate in that skills development program.
And we've seen so many successes coming out from the BRICS summit, member states testifying about the successes, the challenges that they've changed into opportunities in their countries, and hopefully they can bring some of that knowledge here to South Africa as well. Thank you so much for your insights. That was Telkom's Group Executive for Innovation and Transformation, Dr. Mmaki Jantjies.